In the midst of a hot summer week here in Kentuckiana, when AC is needed more than ever, dozens of homeowners in Louisville have spent their Friday without power here. It's our top story at 5. I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez. Doug and Shay are off tonight. LG&E's outage map shows the issues are concentrated in the Germantown neighborhood. Folks there tell our Alexis Jones and photojournalist Emma Geffner they were given no notice of crews doing work in the area and want answers.
According to LG&E's power map, nearly 70 people were without power in Germantown today, which neighbors say has been an ongoing issue for the past week.
Glad to have the power back on.
After going hours without electricity a few days ago.
They're just being totally inconsiderate of us.
Robin Edwards says LG&E started fixing power lines last Thursday, cutting off residents' power each day without warning.
We need notification. We need advanced notification.
Because of the sudden outage, some neighbors say they were unable to work from home. One woman says she couldn't cook for her grandchildren, and many others had no way of escaping the heat on Lydia Street.
My AC ran until about 8 o'clock that night trying to cool the house back down to the thermostat setting.
Edwards says she and her neighbors called LG&E several times for an explanation. She says the company eventually said the power outages were part of a scheduled maintenance, leaving her with more questions.
Why isn't something like this scheduled for the spring or fall when it's not this hot? They let you know when they're going to trim the trees. Why wouldn't they let you know something as inconvenient as this?
We took these concerns to LG&E. Spokesperson Natasha Collins says, quote, the work crews have been performing in Germantown is a part of a project to enhance reliability for customers by upgrading poles, wires, and other equipment, and did require a short service interruption along Lydia Street. Depending on the work being performed, there are a variety of different methods we use to notify customers. In this instance, the crew knocked on doors in advance of the work. Unfortunately, the work ended up taking longer than anticipated due to a difficult pole installation. We apologize for any inconvenience that may have caused. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
More news here tonight at 5 o'clock. A man is dead after crashing into the High Gold House facade near River Road. That's in Butchertown. LMPD says it happened overnight at 1:30. Police say a car was driving fast along Frankfort Avenue. As it approached the south end of the High Gold House facade, the driver lost control and crashed into the concrete base. Early investigations indicate the driver was not wearing a seatbelt and there was no one else in the car. The man died at the scene. LMPD says the landmark was not damaged. Police also responded to another serious car crash, this one just a few hours later near Valley Station. Just after 3 in the morning, police were called to a single car crash on East Pages Lane and Standing Oak Drive. Officers found a car that rolled over several times and finally stopped in the ditch line. EMS transported the driver to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. And those driving to and from southern Indiana, we've got a traffic alert for you right now. The Sherman-Minton Renewal Team says the westbound I-64 lane on the top deck of the Sherman-Minton Bridge has been reopened. Good news there. The lane was closed 2 days ago. While the team was doing demolition, they found a part of the bridge deck was in bad shape and needed immediate repair. Crews completed the repairs this morning, and now the lane has been reopened. Again, the westbound I-64 lanes that goes from Louisville toward New Albany. And today, Norton Healthcare hosted a historic ribbon cutting in the Russell neighborhood, supporting the youngest Louisvillians. Their first pediatrician's office is open in one of the most populated areas of the West End.
There we go.
There you have it. Norton's first patient, Don Spencer Jr., cut the ribbon this morning. The new clinic is in the 7 County Services building. That's on West Broadway. They plan to serve about 4,000 kids a year, from checkups to specialty care. Norton asked the West Louisville community what they needed, and one of the biggest concerns was access to child health care.
I have a passion for kids. I have a passion for underserved kids. I'm very excited to come back to Louisville, where I grew up. And I'm just excited to see these kids and these families grow and succeed, and just to be a little part of that.
And by working in the 7 Counties building, the two organizations can work together to address mental health care, especially in kids. You can start scheduling back-to-school physicals right now. And this morning, a fire caused heavy damage to a building that houses the Bowling Green office of Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, as well as a local law firm. Take a look at this video here. No injuries were reported, according to the Bowling Green Fire Department. The cause of the fire and where it started are under investigation. Structural damage was too serious for firefighters to enter the building, and they had to block off multiple streets while they worked.
Crews will be out here for a majority of the day, so you can expect this area to be blocked off at least until tonight. We will keep our social media updated as soon as streets are opening back up, but just try to avoid the area for the foreseeable future.
Senator Paul said in a statement he's thankful for first responders arriving quickly to put out the fire. He said his office is working with authorities to assess damages and determine a cause. A Frankfort, Kentucky couple is facing charges tonight after deputies found 4 children living in what they call horrifying and dangerous conditions. Gregory Johnson and Sarah Hewitt Johnson, you see them on your screen here. 3 separate calls came into the Franklin County Sheriff's Office for animal abuse at their house around July 19th. Gregory Johnson's own mother calling the police and detailing claims of abuse to 2 dogs inside the home. According to arrest records, when police went to investigate, Sarah Hewitt Johnson told police they did not have dogs. Deputies say they could smell something bad coming from the home before they went inside. In the report, they described trash piled on the floor reaching the height of the beds, animal feces on the ground, and mattresses and roach nests in the walls. There were 4 children in the home. Both Sarah and Gregory are charged with wanton endangerment and cruelty to animals. Meanwhile, in western Kentucky, people are still recovering after 9 inches of rain flooded neighborhoods earlier this week. Mayfield over in Graves County hit hard. Governor Andy Beshear, who had declared a state of emergency days ago, toured the damage today. It's an area that's still working to rebuild after tornadoes ravaged the city and that candle factory back in December 2021. Christina, of course, we all remember that day well. You know, you just never know at this time of year. I guess here in Louisville, though, we do have some good weather here coming up, at least for the weekend.
Yeah, and we certainly deserve it. What a treat this weekend is going to be for us. Not talking about any active weather here. All of that at this point is situated well to our south. That's all associated with a few of those storms that we saw yesterday. I know they were very few and far between, but a couple of us here in Kentuckiana did see a couple of showers and storms around this time yesterday afternoon and early evening. But again, that's all out of our hair, and we're going to continue to see drier and drier air filter in through the course of the weekend. So that humidity is going to be staying low. You're not going to be sweating, and it's not going to be soupy as you're stepping out the door, much like the last couple of weeks have been across Kentucky. And like I said, it's really just going to be a treat for us. Temperatures out there, nothing to complain about either. In fact, we're in the upper 70s right now in southern Indiana, only in 77 Paoli over to Cordon, where you're clocking in at 78 degrees. We do have some lower 80s from Louisville stretching down to the south, with the exception of Munfordville, where you're coming in at 79 degrees. We are going to keep the heat tame, at least for our Saturday, warming up a little bit as we head into our Sunday, but it's still going to feel pretty pleasant outside, all things considered, because that humidity is going to be staying quite low for us. And you're really going to want to take advantage of that, because the humidity and the heat turns up for us. I'll tell you just how high those temperatures are going to go in less than 10 minutes. Isaiah.
Christina, thank you so much. An indictment could be imminent for former President Donald Trump on Sunday. Special counsel Jack Smith informed Trump by letter that he's a target in his investigation into the January 6th attack on the Capitol. And now today, Trump's legal troubles only widened. A federal judge in Florida setting a trial date for Trump on charges of mishandling classified documents. Sources tell ABC News the target letter mentioned 3 federal crimes Trump could be charged with. That's conspiracy to commit an offense against or to defraud the United States, obstruction of an official proceeding, and conspiracy to deprive people of rights. All this comes as a Florida federal judge thwarts Trump's efforts to indefinitely delay his classified documents trial. Judge Eileen Cannon scheduled this trial for May 20th, a compromise date later than prosecutors had aimed for, but sooner than Trump wanted. Judge Cannon says the prosecution's request for a December trial was too soon, given the complexity of the case and the massive amount of evidence. This morning, lawmakers are preparing, or tonight, lawmakers are preparing to look into claims of a cover-up within the U.S. government when it comes to UFOs. Congressman Tim Burchett, a Republican from Tennessee, says at a hearing next week, Lawmakers will hear testimony from David Grush. He's an Air Force veteran who claims the government has a, quote, taxpayer-funded program that recovers and stores crashed alien spacecrafts. The Pentagon says an investigation has found no verifiable information to substantiate Grush's claims. Skeptics believe the sightings could be advanced drones or optical illusions. The military intelligence officer leading the Pentagon task force on UFOs says they're analyzing more than 800 cases that dates back decades. But Congressman Burchett says next week's hearing is all about governor transparency.
I'm going to bring you in a saucer or a little green man, but the reality is the American public deserves to know.
Government transparency there. Now, the Pentagon has not commented on the hearing, which is next Wednesday.